I think we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Is there any changes to the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay. And then, I'm going to read the minutes for the last meeting. We don't really do that, do we?
I think everybody got a copy, didn't they?
Yeah, I got a copy.
And that usually sends them out.
Okay. Are there any changes or corrections on that?
Motion to waive reading and approve the minutes.
Second. Okay. All right. Well, I want to welcome everybody this evening. We are having, this is our community outreach meeting that we wanted to have, our vision meeting, I should say, to have our community, you are community!
At least we have community.
Yeah. Community. So we want to welcome you and thank you for coming. And what we were going to do this evening was try to come up with ideas, brainstorm any idea you have. If you have 20 ideas, we'll take all of them to get ideas for what we could do with the property on North 5th Street. So,
A little bit of background, if you want me to take over.
would you do that, please, Curtis? You're good at
Right
that.
now, we are working on applying for a grant that will help us to pay for demolishing the Sunwise property, the property that's known as the property formerly known as Sunwise. As part of that application, they want to see the community get involved and give us ideas for what we would do with that property once the building is demolished, with a focus on some sort of vertical infrastructure, something built there, not merely turning it into a green space. So as one of the steps of this application, we decided to hold this visioning process meeting. So we could just take public ideas and show them that our community cares about this property and wants to do something with it, if they give us the money to bring it down. Does anyone have any questions about that?
No.
All right. So, I guess we're just brainstorming. Right now, I've been told, just as part of the outreach on our,
Do you want to write or you want me to write stuff up there?
it doesn't matter to me. Are you a better writer than I am?
No, probably not. Go for it.
I'll let you.
That'll just be fun, because you can do all the talking, I'll just do the writing.
Okay, I'll do all the talking.
You two are a good team.
As part of the outreach so far on the Planning and Zoning Facebook page, we have discovered that people are interested in a dog park, an all-seasons roller skating / ice skating park, and a bring-your-own-equipment putting course.
Oh my gosh, what?
The all-seasons roller skating park has been primarily put forth by people who are on a local roller derby team, and I feel that may be related to that.
What was it, bring one equipment putting?
Putting,
Like a
Yeah.
miniature golf.
Miniature golf. So it would just be open all the time. It wouldn't cost anything. You just bring a putter and a ball, and it would be this semi-permanent. I guess it'd be this permanent
And then the roller derby.
roller skating / ice skating rink. Depending on the season.
I should do yours.
Why'd you rate dog park bigger than the rest, or is that what you're in favor of?
Just didn't plan ahead very
I
well.
think we know what you voted for. I don't erase it. We know where you stand.
Just giving you. There's always has to be a
That was her
troublemaker.
idea.
No, I like the putting thing, really.
So with that, I guess we would just go around the room and take anyone's ideas. We on the board have been thinking about this for a few months, or at least been aware of it. Start with Bobby.
I sort of asked for input on this, and most people were looking for, they actually like the idea of having more open space, because in the downtown area, there isn't a lot, and there's, the only really open space that is like community centric would be like the courthouse and the space across, so,
I know.
so people really actually mostly
And-
wanted to see something that could be used as an open space, maybe with some kind of a building on it, but,
And my original, idea for this was that we would like create more parking for downtown. When I was talking to the people of the DNR and
they don't really like the idea of parking.
No.
No.
they don't like green spaces, they don't
And
like parking.
So that
Main
won't
Street
fly
doesn't really
for-
like the idea.
Well, it
Main Street doesn't really like the idea of
it may be a good
parking
idea
either.
for our town, but it doesn't make us competitive on
On
the
the-
application.
Yeah, to get them to pay for the tearing it down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And with Main Street, they are very big on the Chamber Main Street side, they're very big on adding open space to Main Street areas.
Mhm.
Because it tends to, they see the trend now that with more people living closer to downtown, that people are interested in having a place that they can, that's open space, that's green, that has trees, that has places to sit, that those kind of things that can be used as a gathering place in addition to what happens in your Main Street downtown area, so.
Well, and then on the other side too, there is a final outcome that they want to see, which is something being built. But for the application, we just also need community input. And one thing is as valid as another.
So really, most of the people that I talk, and a lot of those were the Main Street side, and what they really do encourage is that you do create some more open space that's more community centric. In other words, it's not just a piece of grass.
Right.
It's seating area, it's something that you could use, as a venue for different activities, down in the Main Street downtown area.
This jogs my memory that someone mentioned sort of a welcome center kind of area.
Exactly, so the structure would be something kind of, that would give information about your city, those kind of.
Maybe a map of downtown with all the businesses on it, that kind of
Exactly,
thing.
something like that, so. So that could be your structure with the open space around it.
I like that idea.
How big is that area, Curtis?
I don't really have the square
You-
foot
I
on
say,
it in
wondered if
front of
you knew.
me. It's not as big as you think. But I can
I'm just
describe
wondering
it.
if
It goes from.
would have room to do a couple different things on it, maybe.
It goes from a couple feet east of that bank driveway, down to the street, and then down right up to the edge of the building where it turns into that alley.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah,
not
I guess
huge.
it isn't huge.
It really isn't that big
No,
when
it
you think
isn't.
about it.
Yeah.
Well, I do recall when I started looking at it for parking, it had that much. It'd be a little bit bigger than what's behind whatever that building is now that
The-
Kevin
on the-
is in.
Kitty corner.
Yeah.
I think we could do better
Yes.
than parking.
Or I guess that's your job.
No, that's okay.
As far as the demolition and taking care of that, is that, the cost of that's gonna be incurred by someone else, a grant situation?
There's going to be
What-
a couple of different possibilities.
Basically what I'm getting at, has it been cleared that it is clean and there will be no,
Yes. We're not eligible to go on to the, I forget what the fund is, the super fund. It's not contaminated enough. There's one portion on the back dock, you know the place,
Oh, yeah.
where if you start eating the dirt, you could get sick. But whether it's the dirt or the chemicals, that would make you sick first. But otherwise, it's clean. It's not pleasant, and
Yeah.
there's plenty of asbestos.
yes,
But that's a thing that's going to, there's gonna be a removal specialist that does that prior to any demolition.
yeah.
And then, just so you know, a lot of the block is recoverable and reusable as riprap.
Yep.
So that's gonna keep a large portion of it out of the landfill, which will potentially make us eligible for having 50% of the cost, no, I'm sorry, 75% of the cost paid instead of 50% of the cost paid, depending on how much percent we're able to keep out of the landfill. And then who knows what kind of metal, whatever, we'll be able to recover what goes on there. We got a quote, and actually if someone else wants, if you want to go with any ideas you might have, while I look that up.
I would just like to see something that we could use it for, maybe for the younger kids, something.
Yeah. Like a
What
little
are some-
arcade or
something, you know, I would-
something?
Huh?
Arcade or something maybe?
I don't even know that even really.
That's a good idea.
You know, something that we could do for the younger kids, something for them to do. Other than like the community center or whatever, because you know that closes at a certain time. I actually kind of like the mini golf idea.
How do you do it?
How hard,
You know,
how hard would it be to get one of these playgrounds like Storm Lake has at Kings Point, the
Oh,
rubberized,
with the rubberized.
with the rubberized bottom?
I don't know.
Did that
Oh.
Storm Lake?
It's so nice, yeah.
Where's
Have you ever
that
been
at?
there? It's right, Kings Point, when you come in right,
Oh,
that park right
Like the
there.
lighthouse thing.
That might be something we could use on foundation grant. You know, if we could come up with matching funds, you have
That's
like
a
50%.
very, very nice
but
park.
That's,
Yeah,
a lot of those, like a lot of the cities have used that to do small playground structures or play, you know, play area structures, because it has to be infrastructure for that foundation, and so you have to create something, you have to build something. And a lot of the cities have used that, but again, it would be matching funds from the city that would have to
We
be
could
committed.
possibly do like shelter houses like that there.
It's really nice.
It is nice. It is.
Something like that would be great,
Yeah.
and it gives a little more structure to the whole area.
But it would be used, I think that would
Yeah.
really, I
Yeah.
think that would be used. I know people that go to Storm Lake just to let their kids play there.
So,
So, can we just talk back here, or do we have to raise our hand every
no,
time?
you can talk.
Up to
Just
the,
go
up to
ahead,
the
tell us
press. She
whatever you
says
think.
talk.
Just jump in whenever you want
Jump
to.
in whenever you want. We
Well, okay, I'd like to say that I really like that idea for the younger kids. They need something in the city to do rather than have to chuck off somewhere else to spend our money somewhere else. And his idea with the indoor and the Storm Lake thing, that would bring a lot of revenue. Because everyone's going to Storm Lake to spend their money at that place.
Do they have to pay a lot to get in there to do
No,
it?
it's free.
But if they go, but if
But
they
they-
go there,
they-
then
they
they're
come
gonna
to our-
spend money there.
They come to our
I mean,
town.
Yeah, that's
It would make our town more,
Or other?
some kind of maybe,
More appealing.
some
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of a
we-
welcome center
we-
along
yeah,
with some
we ate
mini
supper
golf
every-
or some arcade.
We ate supper once a week at Rockwell City just because we were taking our kid to the coolest playground in the area out there. At that castle place.
that's a cool one too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that is a cool one.
I mean, it draws.
Mhm.
And
Susie,
there's,
you and I are gonna have to ride around and look at all these.
yeah, yeah.
I'll just break in quick.
The park up there at Kings Point is really cool. Especially when you bring your kids home, they're not filthy. They're rolling around
Oh.
with wood chips.
Oh, okay.
Just to break in quick, we got a quote for bringing the whole thing down at about $65,000. There's about $50,000 in grants available from DNR. It could be up to 75,000 grants and available if we recover over a certain percentage. I'm sorry, I'm just still not seeing that percentage.
I'm trying to remember from early, I think it's like
72%,
72%
something
or
like
something.
that.
It's like a weird number.
Yeah,
But I think it's like over 70% has to be recycled and kept out of the landfill from
right.
there.
And I don't- I
That's
don't
how they
know-
got their stuff torn down.
And I don't know how this grant works, if it costs us $65,000 and there's $75,000 available, if they just pay for it, or if they then default to some sort of percentage of the project.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's something, this is gonna be a learning process as we apply for this, which is due every February, by the way.
And I
And we
know-
are
I
shooting
know
for this
Early did-
February, correct?
Early did do this, that same grant.
Did they?
Yes, so that might, and
So
Sharon
Dave
Irwin.
Jen is probably the guy to
So-
talk to.
Yeah, Sharon Irwin.
Or Sharon Irwin, she's
Sharon
the,
Irwin knows a lot about it because I think they've done it twice.
Okay, Sharon.
So, and that's where I heard the percentages.
Okay.
She was saying, we were talking about the demolition of buildings at one time. She was talking about how they had gotten this grant from the DNR, so.
they just did the motel.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Mhm.
And then it was at what, lumber store?
Yep,
Some-
the
something
lumberyard that was,
Lumberyard, yeah.
that was hit by
Yeah,
the
same,
tornado that
same
went through.
thing, so.
Yep,
So she knows a lot about it.
So what did they do in early? They did?
tore down that old motel that was on Old Highway 20,
Okay.
and
And
then
then
when that tornado went through, that, it took out part of that old lumberyard.
Lumberyard, and they
By
tore,
Market
that
Home.
was their first project, was the lumberyard one.
Yeah.
Well, Early's been really going to town.
Mhm.
There was a,
They've been very active.
there was a county league meeting I went to last September or October, about a year ago. Dave Jennett
Gave that presentation.
presentation,
Yeah, that was,
about how the nuts and bolts of how they're getting that done.
yeah.
So I have another idea on that. In a town where I lived, which was in Torrance, they had a miniature arcade, and for the structure, they had the arcade, and for the land, they had miniature golf as one joined thing. And then they expanded from that, and then they started doing like baseball, where you hit your bats.
Batting cages.
Yeah, hit bats.
A family fun center.
Yes, like that, yeah. And they just kept adding on to it. And it was a huge hit.
Or dream, we can write down family fun center.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Does that kind of include some of this? But-
Yeah, it sort of includes a bunch of other things already on.
Okay, Ben, you have my curiosity. Why are you guys here? Just to
Yeah.
listen? Do you guys have ideas?
Yeah, well,
Give us some
this
input.
is actually mainly my ag business class, and we just kind of been talking about there's a lot more to running a town, and you know, it doesn't just happen on its own. And so their final assessment is kind of they have to make a business plan for a rural community in our school district. And so this is just kind of a learning opportunity where we can come do that. And if you want to bounce ideas off them of
I'd like to hear
would they
if
actually
have
do
any
something
ideas.
like that, you know,
Yeah.
then
What
that's fine.
would you guys
as well.
go to? What would you like to see
I
happen?
like the putt-putt thing for kids, because I think you don't have to pay to go to it. It's easy. I have a little brother who loves to golf. Loves to go to
So you think it would get used?
I think so, yeah.
How about you guys? Any ideas?
I think your roller skating ice rink is the right idea.
Yeah.
That's up there. If, I don't know how many kids roller skate or skateboard in the town, but I know it'd be a pretty big hit in the winter.
Yeah.
Really big. There's not a lot to do around here for ice skating.
The arcade, I don't know, I'm sure that's gonna be kind of an indoor deal. You could have arcade and slash putt-putt, so you can do that during the winter time
Oh, that's
instead
a
of
good
just
idea.
doing mini golf
Yeah.
during the summertime.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That you could do, you utilize it year round.
But yeah, like the batting cages and all that, that sounds like a good idea. I know I'd come up just for that.
One thing I thought about that maybe hasn't talked about, but I don't know how far this would reach, but having like a trailhead for bike trails around town. I don't know if they've ever, has there been talk of putting bike trails around town?
I can speak to that at length if you want.
Briefly,
City council
Okay,
meeting.
briefly.
briefly.
No, I mean, it's actually a committee, I was committee head of trying to figure out what we could do about that at one point.
Right.
The short answer is that there just isn't enough money
Very
to
expensive.
cover the millions and millions of dollars we need just to go 3 miles.
Wow.
And it would have to be in ditches.
Yeah.
And there would be basically nothing going out to it because of everybody already owning property. Unless we used easements on sidewalks to widen something to 10 feet to make it appropriate for bikes. The council basically wasn't approached to see if they had the will to do this. They were getting beat up about streets at the time, at the exact same time, and it just kind of got dropped. But I like that trailhead idea. Like it's the
Well, I
place
guess
where
when I
you
lived
go.
down here on South Fifth, you know, I'd go out and walk my dog and there'd be the ravine and, you know, I'd be on the road. And, you know, it seems like you could be there and then go down by the, you know, river, and even if it was just a 5-mile circle that started right there, and that being the trailhead type thing. If you've ever been to Woodward, they kind of have that type thing. It's kind of a neat welcome center too, so you could almost do welcome center, trailhead, green space, you know, kind of all that, and then you want to go walk your dog, you have a 5-mile trail. You want to go rollerblading.
So
you
you're
have a
talking
5-mile
about
trail. Just a circle
in town.
almost around downtown. You know, it could go middle school. You have one-way streets. You're going to be able to bike down a one-way street pretty safely. If you need to use streets, you know, go down by Fady Hill, get on down those trails by the ravine, and then just take it kind of back, I don't know, by Benon's Valley and up the ravine.
And you would know better. The chamber developed some sort of walking suggestion map.
When we were doing our sidewalk thing, we came up with the, what do you call it? Bruce did it. The walking area or whatever it was, when we were talking about the sidewalk. There's a map. Actually, I have it in my thing.
Well, yeah, I published it just a few weeks ago.
Mhm.
But this is separate from that. This was a couple of years ago where the chamber had like they'd gone out and measured, I think it was during Laura's time. They'd gone out
Oh.
and measured a certain amount of miles.
How far each
like
area
loop
was. Yeah.
They had all these colored loops.
We were doing
That
the,
was before my time.
Okay.
how long have you been in town?
Well, before worked on the chamber, I was doing that training.
It was for that wellness thing, wasn't it? Live
Yeah,
Healthy
it was
Iowa.
layout
I think they
for
did the layout
walking,
for that Live
yeah.
Healthy Iowa, I think is what that was.
That would have been 6 years ago.
So something like that could be incorporated in where there would be
Mhm.
a suggested safe
Yeah, and I guess just because
loop.
there are so
trail.
many like bike teams forming locally, I think you're gonna get support.
Biking
Kind of
is
like
the
when they
number
did
one
Sock Rail
activity in the
Trail and they
country.
let them use it for snowmobiles, there was financial push there from those groups.
Walking trailhead,
I sat in on a
or
meeting
biking trailhead.
a few months ago with an organization that's developing
Or
a
could
safe
be
bike
walking
route
too.
through the
Yeah.
county. That's gonna meet up with BB and meet up, and there's just gonna be this, watch out for bikes trail going all the way up to Spirit Lake. It's being developed right now.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Biking is the number one activity in the country.
That's what I do.
Oh, really?
It's the number one activity in the country is biking.
They could even just make a loop through Chautauqua Park and then kind of go across the river.
Mhm.
I know there's an empty street down here
Please.
by the gas station. You go, kind of go to a dead end, you can incorporate that in across the river.
Just determine what the most scenic route around
Mhm.
town
Around
is.
would be,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or you could do a couple different routes, do a 2 mile.
Yeah, but if you can get on and go for, 3 miles even, it's worth getting your bike out. So.
That'd be good for walkers too.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah,
have to-
walking, yeah, you see a lot of
You
people
know,
walking there.
because when I go walking, I want to know how many miles I've done.
Yeah,
So
you're
I get my
right.
van afterwards and I drive it. So
So
it'd be
do you
nice
have-
to have somebody.
Do you have biking trailhead, biking, hiking
yeah.
trailhead?
Walking,
Yeah.
biking, head trail.
Okay.
Trailhead, oh, trail.
Head trail,
Okay.
Whatever.
And then if you did have a structure there, I guess you could have vending, for people that are doing those activities, or just if they want to take their lunch downtown, there's, just,
Like a pop machine.
Yeah.
Or a,
and all, but I mean, all of that, a lot of that that we talked about could kind of be incorporated.
there you go, right. Sorry about that. It is that only thing, isn't it?
Well, then, as we're talking about this, I would be remiss if I didn't suggest a skateboard park.
Koi pond for certain people in this town. I said with a koi
I
pond.
think the koi pond's out.
Oh,
Yeah, the koi
darn it.
A what pond?
Koi.
Coin.
Koi.
Koi.
It's a-
The
it's a-
fish.
C-O-I?
It's a fish.
K.
See,
K-O-I. isn't it?
K-O-I.
K-O-I.
Oh, that's a kind of fish?
It's a
Yeah.
fish.
Oh.
It's like a
giant
big old
goldfish.
Giant
goldfish.
goldfish.
Huh?
A giant goldfish.
They're
Oh,
very
okay.
expensive.
they're only
No,
like
but I
$3,000 to $4,000
Oh,
a piece.
only,
They
yeah,
used
then
to
you
have
have to
that
maintain them.
Down here in the
Keep them
park,
alive.
where they still have
Yeah,
the
where
thing,
the arch
but there's
is.
no
Oh, yeah,
pond.
there used to be
When
one
we were
there.
little and there
Uh-huh.
was fish in there, that was so neat when you were a little kid.
Yeah,
with
I
the
can
fish.
remember.
Hey guys, there's food over here.
that what
Yeah,
you
there's
did with them?
brownies and cookies and water. Come help
That's good
yourself.
to brainstorm.
They're
When you
very
go out
good.
and get.
Any more ideas?
A couple people didn't talk out there yet. You guys got any ideas?
Holler out ideas, anything
It can
new.
be crazy, it doesn't matter.
That's what brainstorming is.
Something crazy
comes
can
into
turn
your
into
head.
something.
What would you like to see in Sac City?
A theater. I know.
Yeah,
Well, no. Some towns do, just do the big projector and the big screen, but I think they do that at the community center sometimes, don't they? They do it at the library.
Yeah,
The
we're
library
gonna-
does pretty great.
I'd like to work on a project next year on having movies in the park. So I'm
That would
thinking
be
about
cool.
a project, how I can make that happen. Would you guys go to movies in the park during the summertime?
What movies?
They have to be PG.
You can go as far as PG-13.
PG-13. That are PG. Would you go to that? I mean, because little kids would go, we would have to stay with PG.
Could be a drive-up movie.
It'd have to be movies similar to
Depends on how
Lake
many
City.
studios are there.
Yeah, we'd have to be like
Sort
Lake
of
City movies.
not first run,
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be,
just out on DVD.
yeah.
You know.
Exactly, but I'm thinking Chautauqua Park would be a great place to do that. My sister lives in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and they do it in the downtown area every Friday night. And they have a huge turnout for it, and it's all PG movies. And the families come, they put down blankets, they have little local vendors there. It's just amazing. They have a great
I think we
time.
should add
So I'd love to see that.
community outdoor theater to this list.
Ooh.
To this list?
Hmm.
Where do we have enough space? Put it in.
They show them in the library and
Oh, that's true.
40
Yeah,
people
in that, yeah,
Mhm.
that's true.
in that room.
See, we could have an outdoor.
You could actually do more than one thing with that space,
Yeah.
depends on how much
Oh, yeah.
space each one takes.
Fine.
Just
Yeah.
do a
Make it
whiteboard on one side
personal.
of it,
Yeah, something to show them.
or on the back side, on the alley side.
So,
Mhm.
You know that contaminated side? We'll give that to you for skateboard.
let's do the skateboarding over there.
As a former avid skateboarder, I'll take it.
Well, didn't you used to do some skateboarding in the basement down there?
Did a little skateboarding at Sunwise, yeah.
See a
That's
little
my own
couple
personal
green
skate
eyes
park.
in the wall?
My own little personal skate park over there.
Anything else you guys would like to see in Sac City? Could be the voice of your generation. What would you like to see? I mean, think out of the box. You know, doesn't.
Has to be legal.
Yeah,
Basically,
that's really the only requirement. It has to be.
basically, the only people
Anything
in the
else
room we
you'd like
haven't
to
heard
see?
from is Stacy and Frank.
We'd like it to be
Yeah.
something that
Yeah.
people will use,
I
so
said the
Oh,
kids
everyone,
would.
not just adults. We'd like kids to use too.
We shouldn't single out dogs. We could make it a cat park.
Pet.
You walk your cat.
Well, dog park's kind of a specific thing.
Some people will walk their cats, don't they?
Yeah, I walk my cat.
Yeah.
I do on a leash.
No goats.
Animals attacking the dogs, and the dogs
Dog
attacking
park
the
at
cats.
least has
Well,
a.
last few years, a record number of people have gotten licenses.
Dog park has an
Have to be
activity.
able
Yeah.
to let them.
Yeah, yeah, like logs
And
and.
that's why the one with the armory shut down was the.
I wouldn't put my cat in the car to take them down there to walk them though.
Would we have like a food cart involved in any of this, like a little
Little stand.
lunch counter or stand or?
Well, it can go on the list.
You could do venues, vendors.
You could have some kind of a vendor structure that you
Yeah.
can, because like there are a lot of
Vendor structure.
organizations.
Yeah.
Vendor
Ooh.
structure.
Someone could,
Because then you could have
temporarily come in and
local
sell hot dogs out of there
organizations.
and-
Yeah, exactly. You just
There's a
need
guy
a.
down in
food
Lake-
someone could
permit.
come in and do Santa Claus in the winter,
I guess he was working in New York City.
or whatever.
We tried that in
You
a
did
stone
that.
shelter, it's a little cold.
Let's do that.
We're doing it
He was,
indoors this year, I think. But yeah, maybe a vendor state structure of some kind that could come in and use that space.
Well, you know, Lakeview has that little space that they just have for farmers markets, where vendors can come in, and they've just got a little piece of concrete that they can sit their stuff on.
Do they have to have a permit to do that?
Sure, I think so.
Depends on
I don't know if the city has to, I think the city might have to
Approved?
have some kind of approval process or.
They don't sell any
You
food,
just get
any
voted on
prepared
that they were gonna
food.
do it.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Produce.
Do
Oh,
they?
they do?
Yeah.
If you have just produce or, I mean, we did it, we had to
Someone
put up
sold
a
cupcakes.
temporary license for
Yeah, you gotta
FFA and
food.
it's not too
You
hard.
just
But
have to
if there
get
was a
food license.
certified kitchen down there, that would make it a lot easier for groups that wanna come in and do
Come
something.
in and do things, because you have to, and
Oh,
and
sure,
it's
sure.
minimal.
Three
You know,
sinks
you
to
have
wash
have
in
this
and all
Right,
that.
all if that was
Three washing,
already there.
3-part washing station
Mhm.
and some electricity, so.
Well, that could actually be a pretty good place to attract vendors to then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If there was just something like that, so they wouldn't have to mess with Sherry all the time.
We could use one of those.
The
contract
county
orders.
sanitary
Could.
inspects
Oh,
food.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would go
What do you think would go?
Laundromat?
over. Underman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Laundromat.
That's a good one.
They spell it laundromat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's.
If you can keep it from being vandalized,
Yeah.
it's a money maker.
Yeah. Because that's what happened that one out there, didn't it happen a lot out
Mhm.
there? Or does it just?
Well, downtown, you guys do a lot more door checks.
We got better cops now.
You want to?
We got better cops
The
now.
one thing about the location down here is you're close enough to activity throughout
Sure.
most of the lighted, most of the
Area,
day
yeah.
that,
It's just a block off of the.
and
Yeah.
I have
Which is better than.
coin-operated small laundry in my building. And it's amazing how many people, even that live there, and how many people come and ask me if they can use it,
That don't live there.
that don't live there.
And now there's a lot more advancements with security systems, like cameras, such.
So coin-operated laundry could actually generate some revenue. I mean, it's gonna be theoretically the city's property at some point, in order to take it
It's
over and get it
something
done.
with a laundry, with the size of the property there, it wouldn't take up the whole space, you could still do, even if you had 6 washers, 6 dryers, it would still make you some money.
Sure.
And with the more energy efficient stuff that they make anymore,
There wouldn't be a lot of calls.
yeah, laundromats are really, that's a good one.
That would take out the kids though.
Well, you could still, I think you'd
Wash
still
and
have room
clothes
to
get
do
washed.
something.
Well, the parents come, you know, to do
Yeah.
laundry, and they bring their
If
kids.
there's
and they
enough
can play
space there
playground or
with a
something.
small
Yeah, like a
laundromat, you've
Velcro
still got
wall
room
with
for.
Velcro suits and.
I like the
Yeah.
idea of
Stay
that.
out.
Yeah.
So you can do it year round, it's controlled.
Or a little of both, some
Yeah,
indoors, some
yeah.
outdoors.
Those are good ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys had your brainstorming.
Well, if nobody else has any ideas,
We'll just
Well, and if
write you that down.
we get
Okay.
these out and about, and word of mouth out, you might have more people that chime in and
sure.
come up with
You
other
wanna put it in
ideas
the
too.
paper, Curtis?
Yeah, I'll-
Put it in the paper, right, you're funny.
I mean, I'll write a thing and submit it to him and see if he,
On his side, not in the paper.
Oh, yeah.
no, I'll put it in the paper. I don't have any,
More minute, don't they go in there anyway? Our minutes are anywhere, they're not.
No, I'm gonna write it down.
they might. I mean, they go everywhere. They go,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I was mistaken. Are you asking me to write an article? A press release?
Maybe.
Wouldn't hurt.
And then people could see it and get a number to call you and with other ideas. Or unless I say you.
Respond on Facebook or on your
Yeah.
site.
Well, I mean, I'm running our,
Because you're probably kind of in charge of this anyway, you're like the.
I'm running our public face anyway.
It's like we're
You are.
off grid, we got.
Maybe other people would call in with some ideas. What do you say?
Nothing. He's being out of order.
So Curtis, when you put this together, do
Find
they ask you
myself
for, in a
interesting.
section, they ask you for what ideas the community offered? Or do they ask you to commit to an idea, or
Nope.
how's it? Just
I
to-
mean, I know, and they're just saying, they're suggesting that this is a really good idea to, one, show that you're not just thinking about turning it into grass, and two, show that the community is committed to being invested in
in
the
doing
outcome.
something there.
Mhm.
Okay.
I still think that property where the shoe store was would be a nice one to do like places to sit and green and stuff and
Private
while
property.
they're shopping.
It seems like it's gonna be a
Someone bought it.
haircut place.
I know, I wish I hadn't bought it. I wish I hadn't.
I know. If I had $5.03
Huh?
that night,
Patio.
Wait, what?
If you-
Sit tea. You really,
These
it
beats are
really
gas
block,
too,
the
so if
sun's
you had
blocked by the
$5 and
buildings,
3
so I
cents.
mean, it's not, I guess
Because
it's
of that, don't very
good
much.
shaded, I guess,
That's what I said.
for those fair-skinned people, I guess.
I don't like the sun.
Sipping their cappuccinos over
I like to sit in
there.
the shade.
I prefer to be out in the sun a little bit, so.
Well, so I guess we'll put that in the paper and, you'll put that in your paper and we'll go from there.
it's not really paper.
Well, it was in your, yeah,
I'll put out a press release to
Your
all
press
the
release.
media.
okay.
All
Maybe
the
Carol
media.
Way. All the media.
Okay, is there any other, do we want to move on, probably? Okay, is there any other new business we need to discuss? Actually, there is. We need to talk about nominees for replacing Vicky. Now,
Right now, or, I'm sorry.
do you want to finish doing what we need to do here?
No,
And then
we-
they can leave?
We
if
can
they
call
want?
the visioning thing done. If that will-
I think so.
Do we need a motion to stop that? We don't, right?
I'll just put it in minutes.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's gonna come in.
So we're done visioning.
If
don't
you
wanna
guys
listen
wanna
to all
stay,
our
you're welcome to
business,
stay. If you wanna leave, you can leave, whichever you wanna do.
We have a few little things to take care of. but
Do not judge on the parliamentary procedure because it's not very good.
Good job.
I don't remember it.
We're a volunteer committee.
I was forced into this position, so.
You guys don't get paid?
Yeah, just as much as you do.
Probably even less than he does.
Exactly. We go to the negative. right?
Exactly.
So we have to find a replacement.
Yes, for Vicky. And I don't know if we're gonna end up getting a written resignation.
I don't think we are. I mean,
She's
she's
moved
already been in town, right?
Oh, she has?
Yeah, so I don't know what the,
I think, I've got an email I can give you.
maybe we
From
have
her?
to have something written? I mean, is it?
I don't know, is it in our bylaws?
She probably should submit something to the city
Yeah.
council.
If you have
She
an
should.
email, it should go to Adam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I did forward it to him.
Oh, you did? Oh, if he has the email, then that's good enough. That's all I need.
Yeah.
And I thought of, one person maybe is, which I thought she'd be here tonight, the Jenkins?
Christie
Jenkins
Jenkins.
That was,
Yeah.
that came to our last visioning meeting that kind of went, but at least she came. So maybe she'd be.
Well, she's a roller derby.
I know, it'd probably be a bargain. I'll be at a committee if you do the roller derby.
Well, it could be a fellow or a lady.
But she's
'cause we
active
have 3
in
and
the
3, so
community
it could be
anyway.
either.
She's very active. She's involved in lots of things.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of whether that would
She
be
has
your
time.
schedule or not.
She has a little one now too, so
She
that,
is, yeah,
yeah.
so she is very committed, but she's also very involved. When she gets involved in something, she goes full steam ahead.
Well, ratio-wise, we're open to a male or a female.
Yeah.
Right, because I
So,
think we're even.
3 and 3 right now.
We're lucky that way.
And then we just have to come up with a few names and that goes to the city, right? To the
Mhm.
council?
And the council will
And
have
the
to
council
approve
approves.
or deny.
When we did it, we came up with names.
Yeah,
talked
let's
to
do that.
people,
Let's give them
then
3 and make
made
them
one
pick.
nomination if we had one spot.
How many names did you kind of like come up with?
We literally talked to a couple people and then decided at the next meeting. Everybody sort of just, at one meeting, that everybody had an idea of who they wanted. They went away, talked to the person to see if they were interested. When we came back, we had a nominee. And then we forwarded that on to the city.
Can you guys think of any others then that you would think might be interested or?
I haven't approached anybody and asked anyone
Yeah.
in the last month. I mean, this is the first
I
time it's
didn't
been
know
on
she
the
was going,
agenda.
so.
Oh.
So do we want to maybe bring names to the next meeting?
Yeah.
Would that be a
Bring
good
more
idea?
names to the next meeting, yeah, since we'll have to run around.
Then everybody could have a chance to just feel somebody out and then have an idea of how, if we have more than one person who might be interested.
Do we need consensus or motion? Right?
What's your question?
Consensus or motion to direct everyone to.
Well, why don't we just consensus, we can do that.
Yeah. We just need a motion when we get ready to make the nomination.
Yeah, when we finally decide on someone.
Yeah, most people I know don't want to get involved in anything, but,
You never know, sometimes it just takes asking an individual.
Approaching people personally
Approaching
rather
them
than putting the
personally
word out.
works much better than saying, is anybody interested? No one's gonna put their hand up. But when you talk to people individually, I can almost always get somebody to volunteer. That
It's
works.
true.
It's true. So, but people want to be asked.
anybody out there interested?
Might
Might be on planning and zoning?
Damon wants
You
to.
might be.
Way to go.
Are you a resident of Sac
I
City?
said, never mind, he's not from Sac.
Oh.
Who else, who said they were?
I think the only one that's back there from Sac, Hannah.
I'm not 18.
We're all finding excuses.
Yeah, good excuses. I bet you get an A plus.
Probably.
Exactly. I want your name down, Susan.
Okay.
Okay,
Moving on
moving on, our next item on the agenda is, property improvement contest judging.
Okay, well.
I'm gonna let Curtis take that one again too, because he was the head of the committee and did so much with it, actually, he did everything really.
We,
That's pretty awesome,
well,
Curtis.
let's see, who else was on the committee? You were.
Well, yeah, but I think I kind of fell off. I think Vicky did too.
We came up with some rules. We published them. We had 4 people, we had 4 properties try to enter. One of them was successful. The other ones, the problem was that they entered after they were done.
They didn't have a before picture.
Well, it isn't just that they didn't have a before picture. Our rules were that we have to take the before picture.
Oh.
So they approached us after the project was done with a picture and a final picture, and I had to do the uncomfortable, I'm sorry. And there were some good improvements too.
Yeah.
So we had one property that was eligible. I'll bring up the pictures to show you guys.
And
There-
then, is it closed now? We're done with, did you have a time frame?
Yeah, it was closed on the
Closed
first.
on the, okay.
That's my phone scrolling.
So, I'll just bring this around to you guys. This is our before. Just tell me when you're done.
I tried to talk that one gal on Main Street that, into doing it.
Why?
It's the before.
And here's our after. There's some stuff removed. I mean, there isn't much change.
No, I was just gonna say,
But part of the point of this was garbage cleanup effort,
sure, it was to clean up the property.
and the property is cleaned up. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming,
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
Thanks for your input.
Yeah, I
If
really
you think of
don't-
anything else, let Ben know and he can tell us.
All right.
Okay.
We didn't really put a, and it's something we might want to do in the future, we didn't put a provision in where we reserve the right to refuse all entrance this time. Just didn't occur to us on the committee. Something we know now.
Yeah, you learn the first time you do something.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah,
sure.
always happens.
So we have this one contestant. You guys want to vote? Or would it be by
And
motion
what-
because we're,
What was the total price money?
the total prize money this year is $350. That's another thing we didn't do. We said that whatever the prize money is what the prize money is. Next year we might put a cap on it so that we can collect money from year to year. What we collected this
Do
year
they have to
was-
pay to enter?
No.
No?
No.
And the money comes from?
The money comes from donations. In this case, all of the donators did not have a problem with being public. Do you want me to share that with you?
I would like to know who they were.
There was $250 from the SAC Community Foundation and $100 from Barb Blaze.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's really.
There wasn't a real collection effort made because, just getting our feet underneath of us first year. And a couple $100 seemed like it would be pretty motivating. We start collecting now as tax time rolls up because it is through the SAC Community Foundation, so you get a tax break. Am I saying that right? When you donate to this,
Oh.
Get tax credit, yeah.
tax credit.
Yeah.
So as tax time rolls up, we might approach some people on.
And if we advertise put the after picture in the, on the SAC
I was gonna
news
say, I
and
think
publicize
it needs to be
that
publicized.
Well, yeah, I
This
mean,
person won this much money, I think
I
we
would
could get more
approach
people
the
next time.
winning homeowner and we could have the president and whoever of us wants to show up with a giant check and a caption suggestion to send out to all the media.
That's a great idea, because I think we get more people, I mean, literally, just improve your property somehow. and
You're speaking out.
Do we want to have more than, do we want to have more than one winner, like first, second, third?
If we had more.
Well, if we had more
I
entrants,
mean, that
qualified.
might motivate
We
some
talked
people.
about it,
If
yeah.
someone might go, well, I'm never gonna get first place.
Mhm.
Maybe.
But they could
get-
have, yeah.
I'm more the runner-up type.
Well, and our sort of target was, our target, I don't know, in my mind, my target was people with trashy properties wanting to make some easy bucks just by going out and,
Picking stuff up
Picking
and
stuff up.
cleaning it up.
I think the good thing about this project for a first one is
Huh?
shows you don't have to have a major
It doesn't have
project
to
to
be a major
qualify, just,
renovation. Yeah,
something
for
to improve your
qualify.
property.
I
'Cause
think people
this is
probably
not
thought
real
that in the first, is
significant.
that you had to do something really significant to win the money.
Right.
Like we could have
So-
categories, most renovated, most cleaned up,
sure,
Yeah, maybe, and that might help,
honorable mention.
having a different category listed so that they know that, most
Isn't
improved,
that
or
might-
something like that, that sort of, makes you believe that, oh, I or anything, I just have to improve it.
well,
But
sure,
you-
for year two,
Improve appearance, so it doesn't sound like you have to invest a lot of money into doing something physical to the property, but you just have to clean it up, basically.
that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you might keep from excluding certain populations. Some people,
Exactly.
their
You
house,
can't afford to.
while their house might not be, the nicest, it might be really picked up, so,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that would keep them from being able to go out and
And I think, and we wanna keep it separate kind of from the men's club, you know, just the.
Yard.
the
Yard.
exercise
Yeah,
yard.
exactly.
We want it to be, we want it to, all do, you know, include property and, well, like I
At
said,
any
not
level.
build a lot of
Exactly.
stuff, but, you know, maybe paint your shed or something.
Well, yeah,
I was thinking,
I mean, kind of,
the
we,
shed.
as you recall, we tried to make it open enough to be,
To be,
Any sort of
include
improvement.
anything.
Mhm.
I mean, the point is to try to get people to take pride in their property, and
Yeah,
So
I
think
guess
we
we're not
need to
above paying them
advertise
for that.
it When we awarded it.
well,
I
and
tell
this
the
year was
difference
kinda,
in
you
the
know,
other.
it's always like a test.
It's always
the
hard
first
the
time.
first time.
Yeah.
It always is. Whenever you start a new
It
project.
becomes regular, and then people get more used to it.
Okay.
Maybe we need to be more specific about the pictures, that it has to be, that we
Well,
do it.
we did put that in there.
Yeah,
The problem
I
is
know.
people don't,
They don't read
Don't
all
read
that. They just
They don't
read
pay
it.
attention.
they just see
You can
contest,
be very
call this number.
specific, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
People don't read the fine print, they
You
just
just have
read
to
the.
keep pounding it out.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it was on the front page of the paper every week. It was,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
it's on the SAC News once every
Uh-huh.
2 weeks. It was
Yeah.
on our planning and zoning 3 times.
I think the reward end, you know, being on the SAC News will be what people will actually see and they'll go, oh, somebody won that.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
people always think, well, I'm not gonna win that.
I'm not
And when
gonna
they
win
see,
that,
oh,
but then they say, oh.
holy crap. I mean, it's just like,
I,
you know,
and
it's-
then you'll have people saying, well, I could've won that.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, you know, I could've won that.
I don't ever think Ed McMahon's coming to my house.
It was our first time, so we just, we created, Curtis actually, it was, I think, his idea.
The seed of the idea goes, the credit goes to
Bruce Perry.
Bruce Perry. He's the one that suggested that we do this as a board. And then I was the committee.
So it was our
Chair.
first year, so we just sort of figured out what we were gonna do and then moved forward with it to try and get people involved in improving their property.
So it's like once a year sort of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
All summer long.
Because we started, what, was it May?
June 1
Oh,
to
June.
August 31.
Did we start June?
So, wow.
September.
So they had all
Yeah.
summer
In the
to improve
summertime,
their
when they,
property
all
in
summer
some
to
way.
really fix up or do
I only
something.
heard about it the last.
Well, and were we gonna hang posters and signs them all over, but we didn't really get to that?
Well, Vicki was kind of the artist,
I thought she was
and
the,
she kind of stopped.
so maybe we get working on that a little better this next time too.
Yeah, just hanging a poster at the grocery store does a lot,
Mhm.
and the gas station, because everybody goes in those, you know.
There's
And
another
the
idea
local
for a
businesses.
park, maybe, or a little, a property, that could be maybe a what's happening type of thing. Good questions all the time, hey, when can we burn? You know, hey, what kind of contests are going on? Things like that, maybe it could just be like a, what's going on around town.
Kind
And
of
that
as part of like the
information
welcoming
Yeah.
center.
The welcoming
Sort of.
center, yeah,
I guess it was already said, I just thought it sounded a
Yeah.
little smart.
Well, that's just something that could be included in it.
included in.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Well,
So
I'm
do
not
we
gonna
need
make
a-
the motion because I was the chairman. I'd like someone else
And
to.
I can't vote, so I'm out.
I would move that we award
Let me give you the property
the prize
number.
money to the property address of,
Open. Where are you?
It's on Meadowlark.
I'm so sorry. Maybe if someone knows the property number, they can yell it out.
It's Meadowlark, but I don't know the number.
808.
808.
Meadowlark, I think it is.
Yeah.
the property depicted in the picture that we all looked at on Meadow.
They were gonna have to drive around
For
town now
the-
to figure out where it is, because
For
Curtis
the
doesn't
prize
remember.
amount of
I've got it written down.
$350. So I so moved that.
I second it. Can I second it?
Sure.
Okay.
You can ask for a vote.
Oh, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Say nay. All right, the property at 808 Meadowlark Drive wins!
Set up
Our
a media
first
A media
ever.
event. for
event.
them. A media event for them.
Yes.
That's a good amount of money. I mean,
Yay.
That is really
Would you rather,
$350
would you like getting a check for $350?
Yeah.
I would.
Like one of the publishers clearinghouse.
Exactly.
Doesn't happen every
Especially if they
week.
show up with a big check. The big checks.
Yeah. So we need to set up a time for that?
Well,
Contact the property owner and,
we actually have the property owner here,
oh.
but we don't have a giant check.
Everything you were saying about it.
But we don't have a giant check.
I didn't know the full time, I only knew it for about a month.
So did we get the right address, 808?
Yeah.
Yes, she said 808.
I thought I heard somebody over there say
Yeah.
808.
Yeah.
It's not personnel.
Yeah, I'm like, how does she know that it's
I
$8?
know. I'm like, she didn't even look at the picture.
I was thinking, oh, well, okay. She might
The whole
have.
time she's going over there going,
Yay.
Yeah.
Pay attention to that.
So Wednesdays are wonderful for me. There's no sports. Oh wait, no, there's court. Wednesday nights are wonderful for me. Anyone else?
Most of them are okay, yep, until
So-
Nashville starts,
So
but,
tomorrow night you could be available?
all except for tomorrow.
For tomorrow.
I have a meeting at my home, but, well, it's from probably 4:30, I can't say what I'll get over. It's our board meeting for after 5.
Yeah, it'll get dark. I'm
You
envisioning a
wanna take it
picture that's
outside
in
in
the
front of
yard.
the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wanna see the yard, so.
Well, someone else
Maybe.
can do it. I'm not
You're
It lends gravitas if we say president.
saying. What about Thursday? Oh, Thursday won't work for you? Thursday or Friday?
Or how about the next Wednesday? Would that work
Next
for you?
Wednesday would
The
work.
next Wednesday.
Next
would that work
Wednesday?
for you?
Okay. Would that work for you?
I don't know, I left my schedule at home. I'll let you know.
Well, we'll tentative next Wednesday, depending on the property owners.
Okay.
So the
I
24th.
think that'll work though, I think it's an open day for me.
And what time do we want to do that? Probably,
That's why I'm thinking.
Before sunset, so it's not sun in the camera. Between 3 and 5.
Morning would be good.
Morning would be
Since
great.
The house faces east, so if
Morning.
you're not in the front yard, you got the sun behind you
Yep.
shining on the
There you go.
property.
before 8 o'clock?
That's right. You get off at what time?
Right, my house faces west.
Faces
Faces
east. It faces east.
Doesn't the sun set in the,
No.
Sunset's in your backyard.
yeah.
That's the
So
way.
that's
That's the
So the sun would be shining on the house then.
Oh, I get it.
Well, I can
I
get there
thought
before
you
8.
meant sun setting on it.
Oh, no, no. I may have said sunset because I'm kind of an idiot and transpose those sometimes. Before 8 would before 8 a.m. work for you on Wednesday morning next week?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
I'll call you at 4.
So we'll be there like at 7:30?
7:30 at 808 Meadowlark. I'll be there with the camera. You'll be there with the check. I'll make the check.
You're gonna make a check, okay?
Anyone else who wants to show up would be great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Come on, everybody.
Get the whole
You know,
board there.
The sunrise together, it'd be so fun.
I'm sure it'll be very warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be Indian summer day, it could be beautiful.
Nice, we have a few of those.
Wednesday, 7:30.
Okay.
And then actually delivering the check, I'll talk to the SCF and figure out what that is. And it'll be there, and then it'll be
Are
there
you
on
doing
that
a big
Wednesday.
check thing?
Am I gonna be what?
You doing a big check thing?
Just for
You are?
Just for the
a
picture.
picture.
Okay.
You don't have to take it. with
Yeah, you won't have to cash
that
that
or
one.
anything.
That's okay.
No.
I'll put it on my office wall.
Yeah. Okay, so, let's see, we got that?
24th.
Is there any other business needed to be discussed right now?
On board forum, is that where we are?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep pushing, I'm gonna keep reminding us of our need for a pool ordinance and figuring out what 30% of a bush is at a corner. 30% visibility through a bush is. We're still working on those laws. And Stacy's here now finally to
The
give
bump
us some,
outs.
to give us the next step of what he's looking for with those. We can't act on it tonight, but we can have a discussion.
Does that make you,
Yes.
about the bush?
Yeah, we can
About
start
the
with
bush.
bushes. You brought it up a few months ago,
I did.
saying that there was some difficulty with
And there also was a fence thing that you had a.
fence and bushes were the
Fence
same
and
thing.
bushes, oh, same thing, okay, I was gonna like,
I
I
would
thought it
have
was
to
a
look at
fence.
that, I didn't realize we were speaking to that
Yeah,
tonight.
kinda.
But I don't think you should be able to even have a bush anywhere near a corner,
Mhm.
such as would be an example, 10th and Hobbs. That corner, Duesenberry's.
That big
right there.
tree.
There's in bushes right out
Oh,
there on
yeah,
the
right in
corner.
the
There's a
corner.
There
huge
was-
tree.
East of
And they've been
the middle
served.
school corner
They've
there.
been served numerous times.
Is that east of the middle school corner?
Yep.
South and
Yep, it'd be in Homer's where you turn to go into
Yeah.
Homer's
Ninth and
alley.
Main is getting hard to see down Main Street too, that, they have those natural grasses on the corner. On the other side of the funeral home, the other side of the street, that corner, you put those natural grasses in and you can't see down. When you stop at that corner, it's hard to see to the left.
back this way.
Oh, Larry,
you-
Larry, that.
That
Larry-
nice greenhouse
The nice
there.
greenhouse.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, his landscaping's great, but I couldn't see down the road the other day when I pulled up there, so.
There's
That
16th
place is on
and
North
Lozier.
16th Street.
So there are a lot of
Yeah.
places where
Edge
there are
comes
things
out.
that have really grown up on corners where it makes it
16th and
difficult to
Lozier.
see.
Well,
The one I'm thinking of
Stacy?
is where Rose Craft used to live on North 16th Street.
Oh, yes.
That's terrible.
That's a bad
That
coming-
edge is there.
yes,
If you're-
that is bad.
You can't see anything coming from the north.
Delivering Meals on Wheels, yes,
I
that
mean,
was
these
a bad
things were just
corner.
poorly worded. I mean,
Yeah,
there's no such
that's-
thing as 30%. I
How do
mean,
you figure out what
you should say
30%
yes or no.
Mhm.
Up to a certain
And
point.
it's just a matter of the code need to be rewritten.
Mhm.
'Cause nobody's gonna get out and go, well, I mean, how do you even measure that? There's no yardstick to judge what 30%
Or
of
you say that it
budget.
can only be 12 inches high or whatever.
I mean, unless we
I
have a
mean, if
lawyer
they're
in
gonna
here,
have
they can
something
probably
there,
tell us
maybe make
exactly
it,
what it means.
it can be
but-
a foot or 2 feet, but basically above that, you couldn't see it.
Mhm.
So-
Well, yeah, and, you know, if we're in the business of defining exactly what it is, and we're gonna be constantly chasing it and updating it.
Well, what are you gonna do about the people who have already invested and planted stuff in corners? They're not gonna be happy to, if you all of a sudden say, okay, now you have
Do
to
they get
get rid of
People
it.
aren't
in?
happy.
Yeah, so.
People aren't gonna be happy.
Do they get grandfathered in?
It
Do they-
would
yeah.
be, it would be up
You're
to us to
talking like
write that
something
ordinance
like,
and then
uh,
propose it to the council and them to pass
Is
it.
that
or not.
Quarterman's there?
Mhm.
Is that what you're talking about?
So we would have to have a discussion about whether or not
Whether
we want to
it or not be
grandfather it and recommend
grandfathered.
that.
Well,
And
I don't think it would be grandfather, because I mean, if it's a safety
if
issue,
it's
it's
a
a safety
that's
issue.
the
Yeah.
problem, is that if it's a
I mean, I don't think you
safety
can ever
issue.
say, well,
It's
well,
okay
you're
to have
grandfathered
it.
in, but it's okay to just put everybody at risk.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's not, I mean, that's, I wouldn't even wanna have the grandfather discussion. It's-
And I think you have to then think about, okay, so how long do they have to remove it or reduce the height or whatever? I mean, we'd have to lay out something in the initial,
Mhm.
go out, you know, the initial ordinance, I think, to give them, you can't just say you have to go chop out that bush or
And maybe
do like
that'd be
the
a good
city
thing to
did and
do.
just cut down the tree.
Well, we primarily need to give Stacy the tools to be able to just say,
It's a hedge
No.
trimmer, who's that tool? I work all night long.
during the permitting process.
Oh,
Edward Scissorhands, look out.
But I mean, we also have to give him the tool to, when he gives them the information, you know, you have so long to reduce the height of the bush or to reduce to increase the visibility to whatever it is that we say they have to do, so.
this might be a good task for next meeting, is maybe
Right.
we'll drive around town and see if we can
See how many
put
places,
together
how
all
many
the,
people we're gonna
see
make
how many
mad,
we-
how many people.
Well, that- and like you said, that one corner is terrible.
Well, just about everybody else
It's
is the
not-
answer.
I don't know, it's wherever there's this great big pine tree. It's right when you turn where the beer bread company is. You turn there and
Oh,
right across from
Clausen's
the Howard
Corner.
Center.
that tree
Yes,
is
Dwayne
terrible.
Clausen's corner by the Howard
Yeah.
Activity Center
Mhm.
Yes.
office.
There are a few of those corners where it's really hard to see,
Yeah.
and it is a safety issue, so I think you're right, we can't grandfather.
Does it
I think
stipulate-
we have to give them-
Does
They-
the
they-
ordinance
they can
stipulate
come
how
back
far
on it.
back it has to be from the street?
It's supposed to.
It does, it had to be.
Is that
they put my
evergreen
Trees in, they had to, I could have.
Between the sidewalk and the street, or is it on their property? It's behind the sidewalk, isn't it, at Clausen's?
I'm not sure what Clausen's.
It's in the berm.
I'm thinking there's plenty
It's
there
actually
that
on
weren't
his
actually
property.
planted.
It's
They
in the,
were-
It's between the sidewalk and the street.
I think they were Mother Nature gone wild more than being.
More than
because if it's
I don't think
between the
anybody-
sidewalk and
I
the
don't-
street,
I
the
don't think
city owns
anybody
those.
intentionally planted, but
And that would be a city thing there. If it's
Yeah,
between the
city-
sidewalk and the street, the
yeah,
city
it's in the
owns those,
street.
right?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
has
They
the
have
right
the,
to,
they have the, they
Mhm.
basically
Yeah, they
have.
talk
You cut it
about
down.
that tree branches, but
Without-
they don't talk about pine trees.
Given
Yeah,
permission,
it's,
without property owner's permission.
Yeah, I mean, after the ice storm, they just walked me down the street and chopped everything.
yeah, that was awesome.
Chopped-
Yeah.
Yeah, so they chopped out way more of my trees than they needed to. They just hacked it off. I was out there going, what are you doing? He had the
Well, then-
chainsaw.
I moved the
Yeah,
table
they went
until
crazy.
the next
They
meeting.
were-
Well, yeah, let's just make sure it's on the agenda for the next meeting,
Yeah.
so we can start.
Yeah, just
Changing
get it on
the
next
ordinance.
week's agenda.
and I would have Stacy go around and pick out some of them. Well, I already said 3 of them, but
And then also,
Come with a
just
list
for
of-
board forum, just to refresh your memories, Stacy had mentioned several months ago the need for some way to regulate where people put pools.
oh yeah.
Do you recall that?
Oh,
Yeah.
just barely.
What is it you're looking for with that?
I think we were talking about fences around pools, weren't we?
I'm not really sure.
I'm not either. This was summertime, man.
We'll table it
As
for
We were
this
talking
summer.
about, I think there's a few pools in town that aren't fenced in, no covers, and
We're talking about it being a safety issue. we
safety
thought.
issue.
Okay. And we don't have anything in the ordinance right now that allows you to enforce that, or?
That hasn't I've seen.
There- I don't think
It's
there's
all pretty
anything
big.
there.
I think it's all written pretty loosely.
Have some
I got a
properties there.
boilerplate.
Think of where
I was
that
gonna say,
is.
where are some of those properties at?
I got a boilerplate from Council of Governments about that
223,
for us to consider.
223 South 12th, and the other will be right over here, be right by the police station, would be Nicole Foots. Those are two that I'm aware of. And I do know, I've spoke to, the other one belongs to Cassie Wallace, I spoke to both her and her mother, and they are putting in a fence.
So you're just concerned about the safety of, like, if someone's walking at night and they fall in it?
Well,
Kids
Wallace
walking.
Wallace has really made me
Oh,
concerned
okay,
because,
you know.
and she, I guess, just never thought of it when she put it up, but that means you're right by the middle school.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
trouble
And
is
someone-
kids getting in there when you're not home
Yeah.
or something, and
Goofing
Yeah.
off.
can be a huge
Awful.
liability.
And I put that, that's the way I put it to her. I said, this is gonna be a bad deal if somebody comes over here, you know, maybe skips class and is gonna take a quick dip in the pool and, you know, bumps their head, falls in, and
There's nobody
it's all gonna
there.
be you. You're gonna work the rest of your life for free.
Yeah, you'd think that they would think of that stuff, but.
Okay. We'll talk about it next time.
Just, I want to do one last board forum thing, I'm sorry.
No.
We didn't have an agenda item to review where we're at with delinquent properties, or however you want to express that. Is there anything significant that's going on that you think we should know about?
No, I've been driving around and looking at the ones, I've noticed a couple that it looks like I do need to speak with a couple people that haven't followed through with the tearing down of things, and it's just
There were a lot of people that picked up a lot of stuff though.
There were.
With you guys giving out all those letters.
There was a
Some
list.
was really improved.
There was a list of 20 or 30 some, and
I know.
most people took care of it. I noticed a couple actually here this last week
That were getting.
that didn't get attention. I noticed another one, that one of the Gergis's, that the doors fell back off of her garage in the back, if you look. When you come down, I believe it's Lee, right there on the east-west side of the middle school. The garage doors are hanging again.
Oh,
I think
that
that
big
could
corner.
potentially be a deal, and I spoke with Thompson about that, and the police department might be taking care of that one. 'Cause it's been an ongoing thing. But I know they have people living in there now. There wasn't nobody living in there, I believe, at the start of the summer. They had vacated it, and now there's some people living there.
What about the one by the vet's office there, that one house, but then you said the door wasn't off, and then the next time I went by, the door was off, the front door.
I don't know, I'll have to go look it up.
I don't know who owns that one,
Didn't
but it needs
somebody
something.
buy that?
It's the White House between the funeral home and the vet.
Mhm. Right by that lot.
By the parking lot.
The front door has been off, I don't know.
I wasn't aware that was ever put back on.
I
I think
didn't
it's
think it
always
had
been
been,
on.
but.
I think that's just, there's so many, and that's what we talked about. I mean, I noticed another one, it's been all summer, but I work majority nights and then do computers all day, so when I'm driving around, it's usually pitch black, but I saw another one down here down on Third. I think it's about the third one, just like has a hole right in the side of the house where the air conditioner was. They just took it out and nobody's living there. From what I'm told, the city's been mowing that all year, so. I think just, there's a lot more than it looks like, so. And I think we should go forward with, like what I said. I mean, it's good to go out and you know, talk to these people and maybe write them a nasty gram at the beginning of the year and get them going. But I think we need to honestly put some of this money towards taking one down a year.
Yeah.
'Cause that's at least progressive, because
I agree.
whenever
Yeah,
you're,
we
it's like,
Talk
we got
about that
this.
at the beginning of the year.
We've
We
been-
do have the
We've been
money.
trying to tear something down, and it's really frustrating for me, because we haven't spent a dime on tearing anything
No,
down.
since I've took this, we haven't, but I mean, we're always like, we gotta get on all these people. Some of them,
We
the
haven't
thing
since I
is,
was on the board,
here-
3 years.
here's
We
the-
haven't torn anything
You're
down.
Here's
probably
the
telling
biggest-
you're going to, and then they say they're gonna do something.
here's the biggest problem I have with it is,
No, we
is
just don't proceed.
a lot of these houses that aren't getting attention and never have got attention is because the people either aren't around, like
There are
The one
some
up-
you
the one here?
can't contact, you
The
can't,
the others, no, I mean.
they're not, they don't live here, they
Some,
own
like,
it, they don't live
I
here.
got one up here that I'd love to do something with, guy's in prison. Well, what do you do? Got the one over here behind Crot, that'd be Dusenberry, Shannon's right next to Laura's. There's one over here behind Crossroads, they're from Missouri, I mean, you could charge them and whatever all you like, they ain't gonna pay it. And then a lot of them, I mean, the people just don't have the money, so are you wanting to give them some huge fine? They already don't have the money to fix the house they live in,
How are they
that's
gonna-
counterproductive.
So then where does it, where can the city step in and take control? I
Well,
know
the
it's
city-
planning and
That's a good
zoning, you
question,
guys
because
can't, but where does the city?
this isn't a this year's problem, and it wasn't last year's problem, it's just been an ongoing.
I know, that's what I'm saying, so
what
where,
is, what is the right answer? I mean,
The city has to take over the property.
Just like they took
The
over the
council has
shoe
to take
store.
over the property.
and how do they do that?
Uh,
Do they
via-
contact these
You
people
have
and
to go
say?
to, you take them, the city lawyer has to take them to court,
that's
it's
gonna
a
be
whole
expensive.
process. And that's been the holdup before, whenever we
Early's
referred it to
been
the
doing this for
city.
5 years very successfully.
Exactly.
Lytton has just done it
Yep.
twice in a row.
Early's taken things down like crazy, but we can't seem to get one thing torn down here.
It has to be,
The lawyer for Early knows exactly what magistrate to go to, exactly how to present the case, and to get exactly what he wants done, and they do it in no time. I'm
Which is
telling
this
you.
early you're talking about?
Early.
Dave Jennings.
Are
And
these,
for the
are these
record, I have that
vacated
complete
properties, or are
meeting
they
where
houses
he
that people are
outlined all
in?
that on audio.
Usually it's a property that's vacant and owned by someone, they take the person to court, it's, it's basically a problem, it's fallen apart or whatever, they've taken down. And their process works because they know how to do it.
They are targeting absentee owners, and they're getting lots of default judgments because they're not showing up in court.
In court, and then they
Because
take
they're
it
not
over
driving
and
from
tear it down.
California to save their $30 property.
So if they get the default judgment,
Yeah.
then,
Then
The city does
owns the
a,
property.
what's that called? Eminent domain? And
Takes it over, but you gotta go to court.
okay, so would it help
you
if
gotta
the
spend some money.
planning and zoning committee picked the 2 worst houses in town right now?
Yes.
And came to a city council meeting, you guys, and presented to the city council?
Yes, it would.
Because I'm one voice, and what I say isn't always necessarily gonna fly. So I think if some of you guys would have Stacy pick the 2 worst houses, you guys talk about it the next meeting.
I think that we should vote on, what we think are the two words.
Well, okay,
And
then
that was
I
gonna
hate to
be,
be.
give them a slate of 4, and then you guys pick,
that was gonna be my suggestion.
and then
That
somebody come to the
Stacy picks-
council.
Pick out what he thinks is the worst. We come up with the one that we want, and then we
1 or
start
2 even, I mean,
going
how
to
much
the
do?
council.
I mean, because what's important is it that, are we talking about the worst, or, I mean, the worst can be, sitting way back in the middle where nobody sees.
Right,
Then there can be
true.
something that's not quite as bad, but it's
So maybe
it's
pick
because
the
of
top
where it is.
What's on Main Street?
What
Yeah.
are, so there has to be a yardstick for how we're measuring what's worse. Whether it's sitting on our main street, or if it's sitting, like,
Keikis?
Kemp, there it is. You know that guy called and asked me, somebody told him I wanted to buy it. I think it was Ledford. The guy called me and was gonna sell me it. He goes, hey, you wanna buy my property? I went, no. Yeah, I was told you did. No. I didn't.
Be a good koi
It was a
pond
good
place.
one.
Another thing that's related to that, is, I'm not sure how to go about it, and I know it's not gonna be popular with Adam, and he's gonna recommend against it. But it would be nice if we had a trust and agency fund for ourselves to carry over our money every year. So that we could keep our money and go after properties rather than
He
having
actually
it all.
said before, we had the problem last year where we didn't tear anything down, and he basically told us, he didn't write anything, but he basically told us that we could have $15,000 this year to tear three buildings down. And if we needed more, all we had to do is come and ask, and they'd give it to us.
Wow.
He told me that last year. So, the trouble is, we had a list of 10 houses. We designated these were the 10 most significant things. We sent them the letters, we did all of that, we turned over the information to the city for the city administrator to take action on the properties. Nothing ever happened after that.
Nothing ever came before the city council either.
Every month we'd ask him to come to the meeting and tell us what was going on with the properties. Nothing ever happened. So, I got so
Nothing
frustrated.
ever came before us either at city council.
Yeah, because he says, well, what we usually got was, well, it's at the lawyer's office. It's always at the lawyer's office.
Who's our city
right?
lawyer?
Colin McCullough.
And nothing ever happened.
Okay,
Nothing.
well, you know, Susan
So
and I
It's
are
gonna
at
take a
almost every
little
meeting.
pressure, I think.
So,
Susan and I are at almost every meeting.
Mhm. Be
Not
nice to
sure.
have one or two more there.
Well, yeah, you know, rather
more the
than,
better.
rather
Strength
than
in
the people
numbers.
that are always there.
Yeah, strength in numbers. 23rd. Yeah, next Tuesday, 5 o'clock.
because
Well,
we started
We
with
don't wanna,
those
we don't wanna
45
be like the last
properties.
incarnation of this board and just go beat up on them. I say we should come up with a plan of what we wanna do, and then just go to the council meeting every month, every week, and make sure that they're aware that we're watching them and want this to get done. Because what are we gonna do at the next council meeting?
Well, maybe not necessarily the next one, but you guys need to pick your houses and then come and present. And your reasoning why you've chosen those houses or that house or whatever.
So, I don't know, I think we should revive that then, and pick some properties.
I'd like to see some stuff get torn down,
So would I.
because I think that's
Yeah.
more proactive than,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe if you do a few, that'll show people that
I'm serious.
because I think
You're serious.
citing,
I don't know.
I think
it might.
sending
it might work.
letters, while it, you know, it does get some stuff done, it also sends a message that, you know, we're really not.
We're not doing anything. We haven't done anything for 3 years that I've been on this board. People don't think we're serious.
Just starting last year,
Stacy, who's house down here on Third and Leonard, right on the corner there, where the bridge is out?
We, in our minutes, we have a top 10 list. Remember that, Frank? Do you still have that?
I should know that.
We had a top 10 list from
Because
last
that
year.
one
We could
is,
just start with that.
vacant,
We-
and
yeah,
then
we
the
could. I
next
mean, they're
one
not gonna
is
be-
No
somebody
sense
They're not gonna
reading.
be-
No, they didn't move.
The
They're still
next
there.
one
Right.
is
So,
vacant too.
but we had a
That's the one I
top
was
10
talking
list.
about.
Okay.
There's
where the-
Mary,
I'll have to look and see if I can find
she's
it.
in her, there's the one on the corner,
It was probably the
300.
last time would have
And
been a
right
year
here is
ago,
Mary's
July
Center,
or
it's the
something
one
like
right
that,
next to
Frank,
it, that's
that we
vacant too, there's two of them that are vacant.
turned the list over.
okay,
I don't think anybody lives at 300.
That's the one right on the corner by the
Yeah.
bridge out,
Yep, and then there's Mary's Inners, and then it's the one that was right next to that, that was the one I was talking
right
about.
west of Mary's.
Yep.
So it's
That
actually
was
in
the
Leonard,
relatives
not
of hers,
Third.
and they moved, they just,
Yeah, because the upstairs window, their
And I
screen
think
was
two of the
just
ones that were on
laying.
that list was the one that's torn down on Main Street, and then
Just
the one behind
sticking
the
out.
Freedom Rock were on there, so those two are already gone, but we did have a top 10.
they didn't get
Is the
theirs
one
out this
west
year,
of you
right?
on there? The apartment building.
Yeah,
Well,
but-
you know-
When I was the chairman, it wasn't on there because I really
Bobby.
felt like it was a conflict of interest, so I never put that on the list. We never put that on the list.
and that
Should be.
house really does need to be on the list.
It should be,
Which one?
the apartment
You're not
building.
the chairman anymore, and it's not just you
Yeah.
using your
Oh,
position.
I
a lot
didn't
of
put it on because I
Oh,
thought it
yeah,
was a
he's,
conflict
he's,
of interest,
he's
so I
gonna
didn't.
renovate that, that was one of them that, he also told me both that one and the apartment on Sixth Street. It's, Johann Funk, in
Yeah.
Storm Lake.
Yeah.
I thought he
No.
was fixing them up.
He's gonna reopen both of them.
Those are commercial properties, so those are something we could also look at after we do the Sunlight Building, maybe look at it.
Oh,
It could be a DNR project.
So I just wanted to say,
Because
Bobby,
they're
that there were two properties on that list that did come down. It wasn't because we exercised eminent domain and went in and took them down.
Oh, no, I-
Because we
right.
contacted them, they brought them down.
No.
I mean, there was some success.
There was, we absolutely had some success. My issue is that we had no success with the city tearing down a building,
Yeah.
which was what was one of our missions, was to get rid of some of the really bad properties. We never did, we had a couple come down because of things that we did,
Did Mary
but
Greenlee's come down
nowhere
this
near
summer?
what we had
Yes.
hoped to.
Did it all, did they ever
We
get it all? I
basically
know they
had
were
$15,000 and didn't tear down anything,
all out yet, but she's been,
which was disappointing to me.
Well, and that's probably,
We did get one.
I think you're right, I think there's
Greasy
still
wheel
some
gets
debris
stuck.
there
I
though.
think there is.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying that right.
I
Squeaky
was-
wheel gets.
I was a squeaky wheel, but,
I just hope she doesn't.
but I
get
didn't
debris.
feel like it was
I
appropriate
don't
to
have to
go
I'll make a note.
over Adam's head to the council directly. I didn't think that was appropriate, so
I
I
don't
never did
think, I don't
that.
think it would be inappropriate to have a presence at the council meetings reminding them.
So I tried to do it
Because-
from within, but it just never worked.
I'm gonna guess from I'm just gonna ask Teresa, but I'm gonna put her on the spot too. Not doing a lot of thinking about bringing houses down last year, not really hearing about it from anybody, right?
It wasn't a concern.
Well, I just think we should go to next spring with more proactive.
Before I sat on the planning and zoning, I don't recall hearing anything about it.
Unless we're doing it this fall yet.
Yeah, I don't think there's time to do it this fall.
That's what I'm saying,
I-
I think maybe we
there
should come in the
isn't time,
spring.
because it's a process.
Yeah.
The legal process itself takes time, which is why we
Which-
wanted to
And
start
I
with all the
think
letters
there's
in
enough-
the spring, and then by the time we got to
list.
summer, we could tear something down, but
This
that
is the
just
list,
never
yeah.
happened.
I think that's what
No, you have more than 10 on
No,
I
there's
think
like
there would
20,
be enough
so-
support.
there. This
This
is
was
the
our
list.
Well,
top,
city
that was our
council
top
before
10
that.
ones from last year.
Let's just spend the next meeting getting organized and figure out what we're gonna do.
How long would you say
Target a
that,
house.
that takes down? I mean, for them to take that down and early, the way they do that, do you know? How long
They
is
move
that?
pretty
I
fast.
think it's like a 60-day process from the time they start until they're tearing it down. They
So we wanna,
literally are
we wanna
moving
start
along.
this early spring.
And
is what we-
like, the presentation we heard from the lawyer, talking at.
Well, nobody's there, it's just.
Well, the
in town.
reason he's having such quick success is because, as you know, it's 90 days per motion to answer. And they weren't making any motions because they were absentee owners, so they were able to get them passed. If it's someone
Who's fighting you, it's a whole
fighting you,
different
then
thing.
then it.
Yeah.
That might be
And
very-
there's some of those.
The thing up here behind Crossroads might be a good one for that then, because they're not coming back
Sure.
from, they're not gonna come back. Now would we deem that one of our worst houses? Probably.
Be a nice
Let's
test.
pick
It
something
kinda
that
does,
we
it's
can
on-
be successful at,
I mean,
just
it's
to
on
get
the
it
river.
started, I mean, really.
It's on the rivers, I mean.
know
I mean, if we're
it's
putting
easier.
before and afters on our Facebook page,
Yeah,
you know,
And the cities, the ones that are built, would tear them down, like.
yeah.
it's a good
They
spot
get-
for
they
river
get a bid,
access
somebody
too
to-
there, I mean.
Coming to tear down. And it's about $5,000 to tear down a normal
Roughly.
size house. That's
for
because
Barry.
we got estimates and everything, I mean, we were ready to go.
And that's for Barry, not for a remove.
Yeah, for bigger.
And that's why I was kind of frustrated last meeting, we didn't really use any of that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we do all this serving,
Well,
nothing happens.
the whole idea was, when we started at the beginning of the year with trying to send those letters out, was that, so when we got to spring, we could start tearing down buildings. Because they've already gotten the letters that they need to have in order to set up the going to
Thanks for
court
coming,
thing.
you guys.
That just
Thanks,
never
guys.
happened.
Yeah.
Because then you gotta go to.
Congratulations, by the
And
way.
then you give it to the lawyer, and the lawyer, basically, you have to push the council to get the lawyer to do something and tell them, we want this done, and this is, you know.
What
the
we're gonna do
money's
is
there.
just regroup and take another stab,
Stab-
and we're gonna
stab
come at
at
it
it.
another way.
Yeah,
Stacy, what's your,
maybe more
Go ahead.
publicly, I don't know. I don't wanna do that unless I really try to get it done inside the system. It just never.
Well, you've tried.
I tried, I really did try. So.
we've got all winter to litigate. What month do you want to bring one down first? Like, let's set a target, well, we can't vote on a target.
Could we bring,
But what's your idea
could
for
we
the
bring
first
down
one
the one over here yet this year? The way the way we're talking
We
about,
can
because,
try.
I mean, we got,
Depends on the lawyer, it's all.
Depends on
about
what your
the
weather's
lawyer.
like too.
Well,
Depends on
Yeah.
the
It's
weather.
all about the lawyer, that's the problem, getting
we'd
the
have to
lawyer to
use,
get it to court.
we'd have to have Colin. So.
Right, yeah, but he has to know how early, the early lawyer's doing it, because that guy has his stuff
But he would,
together.
I mean, Colin would know. He's a good
Well-
lawyer.
Colin, you could probably call
He and
Jenna
Dave
too,
used
if
to
you
work
guys have
together, so you ought to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Why don't
I
I
don't
go
know
in,
that
why
you
don't
can get it
I, why don't I
done
do
this year,
that
but-
before next meeting, I'll go in and talk to Colin. I'll go and visit with him.
I've got
because
it.
the holdup is the court part.
Yeah.
Because if they gotta go to court, they have to get, the city has to take over the property. It doesn't take any time after the city takes, they just have to go out for bids.
Oh, yeah,
And
once-
they tear it down, that's fast. It's the court process that's the problem. And you have to
Holds
do
it
all
up.
the preliminary, send them the notice, all of that stuff, and it all has to be done by the numbers, setting yourself up to get it to the lawyer.
Yep.
That's really the issue.
And follow through.
So pick one that we can, that we know that's been abandoned and the person's not gonna come to court.
It's a sure
Let's-
winner.
It's a sure
Start
winner,
with
why
it.
not start with that?
That's why I said that one. That's
Yeah.
probably,
See, I don't know those things, so that would be a great idea.
Well, let's put it on the
Let's do
agenda,
one we can
make
be
it official
successful
next
with.
month, and get the ball rolling.
I think that might start a,
Yes, because people were
People
excited
see
when
it.
they saw the Main Street property and the one behind the Freedom Rock come down. People were excited about seeing that stuff down. So, I mean, people thought we did it. I said, well, we sort of started the process. We didn't pay to have it torn down. They tore it down themselves, which is what we would want.
That's even better, but
That's even better.
it's
but-
not
so-
all that
It's
realistic.
not- I was just gonna say, it's not realistic or
Well,
not
just
realistic.
imagine a year where because we send letters, two people are like, okay, I'll get it torn down, and then we also have 3 more properties that we brought down.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
That-
Yes, I have a question. Once you gain possession of the property, do you legally have to tear it down, or can you do anything with it once you gain possession.
They're trying to sell it or something?
Well, we can do
I
anything.
mean,
The
Yeah,
city
it'd
owns
be
it.
The
city
city will
owned.
own it, so the city could do whatever.
Okay. And I know going from stuff in Lytton and whatnot that, you know, there's one that we're tearing down and the fire department's using it for training, which is great, you know, that we get to practice that. But then everybody I've talked to is like, it's in pretty good shape. It's been winterized. You know, it's not too bad, but then we're still tearing it down and it kind of bothers me. Like I know quite a
If you
few
think
people
somebody could buy it
looking
and
for
do
housing,
something.
you know, and stuff,
Yeah.
and it costs them $6,000 to tear it down. I mean, you could almost give somebody a $3,000 grant and expect the city. I mean, it might not always work out that way, but
I don't know if any of the properties on our list are gonna be habitable.
right. And I know that's
Because we
the issue
try-
as well.
yeah, we usually
Or if
try
you even
to
said
take-
the person joining it, like you can have it if you tear it down, you know, and then it takes away from the city, if or do something with it. I don't know. I guess
Well, because the city, the issue sometimes is that the city doesn't want to be stuck with the property, then they
Well,
gotta mow
and
it.
we have
and da-da-da.
discussed that.
Yeah, that's
We
a
have
problem.
discussed that.
So they'd
Well,
rather have
that's a
somebody
roadblock
have it.
frequently.
About
Yeah.
what to do with the property once we
Properties,
own it.
once
We
it's-
did discuss that.
but I mean, if it could even be
I would
just a
love to see
public
this be turned into a
thing of this
river
is,
access
This
road.
property is available.
yeah, we need something done with
We own
this.
all that.
You know, maybe you have a contest to see who can clean up their property. If they're gonna clean up property,
And I
they
think
get a
my
free
hope is at
property.
the end of that street.
Mhm.
I don't know, that sounds like an anti-prize to me.
Clean up this one now.
Clean up this one, we'll give you this
I get your
abandoned
point
house.
though,
Yeah.
I'm the same thing, that house on Main had a lot of really cool
Oh,
stuff,
yeah,
but they
that-
ripped out the whole inside, so there was nothing.
Yeah, that was really unique
Yeah,
and
that
kind of
was
sad
too
to see
bad.
Yeah,
that.
that
It was
was
sad to see
terrible. That was a
that.
beautiful house.
It was,
The one next to it could have went out a lot easier. One broke my heart.
yeah.
Which one was that,
I
Bob?
wish Navi would have swung
Yeah,
around.
it was next to the early Nancy.
Should've took
Ford,
Navi out the night
Oh,
before.
yeah.
That was a beautiful house
Oh,
at one
yeah.
time, and,
Yeah.
but they ripped everything out,
Red,
they took
purple
all
bricks
the,
or red bricks.
Yeah.
yeah,
Those are beautiful.
yeah.
Well, and keep your eyes open too for stuff that's already structurally unsound.
Like
You know,
the one on, what's the one we
Because
had on the list?
if
right
it's
from
already
Pond
unsafe,
Park?
then that's a
Wasn't it
fast
the
track
one
to getting
with the hole
torn
in the
down.
side that the raccoons were going in and out of? Then
Somebody's
they
renting
started,
that now.
fixing it, but I don't know what happened to that afterwards. I can't remember the
Which one was
address.
that?
Scott
That was like at the top of our list.
Sutton, Rice's son.
It was
I
pink,
can't remember.
it was out
Oh,
there.
that was out here.
Over
They
here
took
in
that down,
Park.
right? Or fixed it?
They
They
fixed it. Is
fixed
that
the
isn't that one
foundation.
Dave?
You can
There was a
see,
hole
you
in
can see
foundation.
through
You
the
could
house,
see
through the
house,
basement.
Yeah,
There's people living in it right
yeah,
now.
Yeah.
there are.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
fixed that.
So they did fix it.
They fixed the
Oh,
foundation.
that was on the
Yeah,
top.
I thought a lot of them houses have been improved out there, except for the other side of the street.
Yeah, they kind of took themselves off our list by fixing it.
That's what should be like that, but
Should have
They're
given
on
them the
that.
$350.
Mm-hmm.
Should have entered.
they should have been.
Yeah, they should have entered. Could have had it.
What's happening with the Carlson house?
What's that?
What's happening with the Carlson house?
I have no idea.
Nothing's happened.
I don't know.
Carlson
It doesn't look like anything's happened for a while.
No,
I
for
was
over a
gonna
year.
say, there's no cars or anything there.
They're
Doesn't
traveling.
seem like-
They leave a lot and go
They
back
travel
to
to South,
California or
they own,
something.
they own their house in South Africa and they travel to South Africa for a lot of the year.
Wow.
Well, somebody's gotta be going over there, because I was told they have a really nice marine tank. Those things just don't run themselves.
Yeah, you can see it occasionally from
Those things just
near
don't
that,
operate
on the east
themselves.
side.
If they just paint the front,
Wouldn't that be
so
nice?
that yellow mustard stuff, with it, in fact, we even, at one time, the chamber even offered to go over there and paint it for them.
They need to
I would
cut
go
with
bushes
the
and
main
shrubs too in that area.
That's
It's
the-
way
it's gotten
overgrown,
way
it looks
overgrown.
awful.
They at least did
From the
something with
highway.
it last year, but this year they
It's
haven't
just
done
awful.
anything.
Because they're supposed to make it into like a historical, they got grants to do that, right? Make it a historical.
And I think they ran out of money.
That's what
I think
heard
they've
too.
had several issues.
Well, that's, that'd be a thing to make sure we have an agenda item next week to bring in concern, properties of concern for the board members.
Should we put up a thing to maybe put that on our list to tear down? Do that, stir up everybody in town.
Yeah.
Yeah. People be a little crazy
I
about
find it
that.
offensive they call it the Early Mansion with all the crime in Early. Just saying. I was also taking pictures of the floor over there in the Chautauqua building. That's kind of unsafe as well.
Are you being
I
out
was
of
just
line
stirred up.
again?
I
just
find
stirred-
myself
You are
in
being
contempt.
out of line, sir.
Remember, I'm not from here, so I can get away with doing stuff.
We had a lady trip on the cement floor in the Chautauqua
Oh, no.
Building
She
at
did it.
Freedom Fest and went down hard.
I
Did
took-
somebody talk about that during the board forum at the last council meeting?
So I went
No,
and
I'm sorry, that
sprayed
was Rodney.
white marking ground paint on the big crack by the door, so at least you could see that it wasn't, yeah.
Well, it's a beautiful building, but
It's
I
beautiful,
did,
but
I
it
did a
does
couple
need some
times
work.
said, well, maybe we should take this down, put
I
a
mean,
nice new one.
it's a good inch by the door. There's a good inch you can catch on.
A
Wow,
nice
yeah, I could
steel-
slap their baby.
Worse
than that.
But I knew I'd get that, but it was
Yeah,
just,
she
it's
hurt,
fun to poke people.
she hit her good knee, thank goodness, not her bad knee.
Must not have too bad knees.
Yeah,
Which is
I felt
good.
bad though. So then I
See
took
people's
marked
sense of
paint,
community.
marked on the
Yeah,
door.
get some- get it
Where
stirred
it
up.
was.
Get some neon before Porktoberfest.
I was gonna
Can't
put
wait to
neon,
see
but
Barry.
Abby
spray
didn't
can.
think neon was a good idea, so I
Taking
put
your
used
building
white
down,
one.
it's on a list of dangerous buildings.
you got
Because I had white in my office. so.
Well, I suppose, does
I say-
anyone want to
Motion to
I say
adjourn.
before we're done, we should just
Oh.
put the Chautauqua building on the list of dangerous
No.
buildings, just to mess with Terry.
No. All in favor, all
You'd
opposed,
be
aye.
So mad.
Just say yeah.
I'm just gonna draft it up and bring it to the.
Do a partial
Do we have a
draft.
second?
Just
to
drop a
adjourn?
note on
Do
his
we have a
phone. A
second?
second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Well, then look forward to
All
a
in favor?
brainstorming
Aye.
session, and your seats will be filled. And